guys, we are back.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are here tonight,
Yes.
y'all, and we are back
Live.
live. We are live in
Yes,
full
Lord.
effect, y'all.
Full effect.
How y'all doing?
We're great. How are you?
Good. Y'all happy to be back live?
Yes. Yeah.
You feeling all right?
I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, because you was a little down. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You just made it. Back live again, guys.
We back live. We are back live.
Live.
Well, as always, we welcome you all to Totally Us Unscripted.
Yeah.
Yes, so you all are in for a treat on tonight. However, as we always do, we want to start out by acknowledging a business owner, a Black business owner. So, the person that I am going to acknowledge on tonight is a person who sells homes. If you are looking to purchase a home, this is a person that you would want to go to. They also do featured classes such as credit. They also is very passionate about the real estate industry, not only just for home buyers and closing at the table, but they also want you to be knowledgeable about everything that you are doing step by step, and they will conduct groups. Their business is called Happily Ever Sold LLC.
Let's go.
And that is none other than Amelia Dooley.
Yeah.
So you should see her information at the bottom.
Yes.
So if you are looking to buy a home, if you would also like someone to come in and do a group for you on buying homes or what have you, in the process of getting a home, hit her up. Her information should be at the bottom.
And it is. Yes, it is.
Oh,
it is there. Read it.
Please
Oh,
do.
gosh.
Yes. So why are we here?
Why are we here?
Why are we?
God, why are we here?
Are we here?
Why are we here? Why? Because we know we are here to inspire intentional living. Now, we've been inspiring intentional living now for a few months.
Wow.
We are since April been inspiring a lot of intentional living. Somebody should have been growing by now. By now we should see some growth in areas.
Yes.
And so because we are intentional about what we're doing and what we're saying and how we are trying to focus everybody in on living with a purpose and with intention and inspiring those. I'm talking to myself. Come on, guys.
I mean, come on.
So I'm going to leave with this quote. And this quote says, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
Right.
That's what Ralph Waldo Emerson said.
Okay.
And the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
Okay.
And so as we're inspiring intentional living, who are you? Who are you supposed to be?
Right.
You decide.
You decide.
You decide who you are supposed to be.
You decide.
Okay.
Make a decision.
You gotta make a decision. And so I'm gonna turn this over to our wonderful host and facilitator for tonight.
Oh my God.
I'll turn it over to our wonderful host and facilitator, none other than our sister, Winsome McLean.
Well, good evening, Saints.
Oh, yeah.
It is good to be back on tonight.
Y'all saints tonight.
That's right.
Y'all saints tonight.
That's right. Oh my.
Okay, listen. So I had to make a phone call to ask permission for us to cover this topic that we're about to cover on tonight, because I know that it's going to be super sensitive and for some super triggering as well. And so just wanted to make sure that my hosts who hosts alongside with me are okay with the conversation that we're about to have tonight. So what we are going to do tonight is we are going to review And I know that we are about 9 days late, but we're
Yeah.
going to review the documentary that Kirk Franklin put out entitled Father's Day,
Yes,
right? The
Father's
Kirk
Day.
Franklin
Mhm.
story.
Okay.
And so I wanted us to review some of the elements from the documentary from our three kind of places that we sit, right?
Okay.
And so we're going to review this from a mental health place / I guess ministry place. We're going to ask Sylvia Carroll to kind of talk from a space of mentorship because Priceless Pearls, I think, is celebrating their anniversary, right?
Oh, today. Oh, happy
Yes,
birthday.
yes,
Today
yes.
is
So,
my birthday.
Definitely from a mentor perspective.
Okay.
And then our Sharita is going to deal with the documentary from a musician's perspective.
Wow.
And so I thought this would be great to have this conversation because there's so many things in the documentary that stands out for me, right?
Yeah.
And looking at the documentary through church lenses, right? The lenses of a person who is a believer, I think it's really, really important to make room and space to have this conversation. All right.
Okay.
So I want to start out by saying this.
All right.
Trauma is not specifically about an event.
Okay.
Trauma is more about the way in which we respond to that event.
All right.
Okay. So we can all three be in the car, have a car accident, and the three of us walk away from that experience with totally different takeaways.
Okay.
Right. One of us might be like, okay, I'm never driving again. The other person might be, I'm ready to drive right now. Let's get in the car.
Mhm.
It's really the response that we have to the event. Right. That determines whether or not something is traumatic.
Okay.
So then we cannot minimize one person's experience and say, oh, that's not that bad. Or, they should get over it or whatever. Because these are things that I hear in the church all the time, right? Like there is a timeline on, when people should get over this, that, or the third. Right? And so it's interesting because as Kirk is sharing, he's saying, I've been in counseling. I am my therapist's longest running client. Right? And he's a believer. Look at the implications there.
Just
right
there.
Just right there.
there.
Let's just start right there. Look at the implications of him being a man of God, him being a 19-time Grammy award winning gospel artist, coming up on 30 years in the industry, and he goes to therapy on a regular basis. Let's just stop right there and breathe that in.
He goes to therapy.
He goes to therapy and makes no qualms about it. And we as the body are still real finicky about people getting the help that they need for their emotional health. We could just park right there. Getting the help that they need for their emotional health.
Right. We need somebody the spiritual side.
No, we're not there yet. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
But I think we only see people through the lenses of spirit. And we are not just spirit. Right? We are body, we're soul, we're spirit. So there are parts of us that have to be attended to.
I was just getting ready to say parts of us, pieces of us have to die daily, as we talk about even biblically too as well. But even in the natural with things that we go through emotionally, we have to unpack those things sometimes with someone.
That's right.
So
that
that part is the biggest part. Unpacking it with someone else, seeing it through their lenses, so they can see it through your lenses, and coming up, with a happy medium of, where you should go moving forward. But sometimes you have to sit with someone to unpack all of that. Because it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Even what we saw with what is it called? Father's Day.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
So you say it's a lot. So let's give language to the lotness. Right? Because it is a lot, right?
Yeah.
But there's language from her, right? So we see in the documentary just a couple of things. I can't even go into the multiplicity of things that we see in this documentary. But one thing is very, very clear is intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
That is very, very, very clear in the documentary. We also see loneliness in the documentary. It broke my heart to hear Kirk say that I am in the company of so many people and I'm lonely, right? Because that was an emotion that he became acquainted to as a child. Right? So that was a pervasive emotion for him. Even now, you would see him go into his little corner by himself because he's so acquainted with loneliness.
And that's something that stuck with him.
Throughout. And so sometimes our lives are fabulous. Like we're making the money that we need to make. We're living in the neighborhood we want to live in. But yet still there are these pervasive emotional responses. That's really rooted in the traumatic experiences that we've had. And so till this day, he's still suffering with loneliness, right? We see again, another thing is adoption. Because there are two types of adoption, right? There's open adoption and there's closed adoption. And so unfortunately, he was a part of an open adoption because his mother could see him from time to time, right? If it was closed, then they wouldn't be able to have contact with him. But it seemed as if it being open was worse, right? Because according to him, every time she left, he felt that he was abandoned all over again. Right? And so reliving that year after year after year, knowing your mama lived in the same town, the same city, like down the street. But she is not, she doesn't want you. You know what I'm saying? And so from a mental health perspective, one thing I want to highlight is one thing that we have to consider when we're thinking about dealing with individuals who have gone through traumatic experiences is the need for safety. Safety is one of the number one ingredients that we need if we have gone through any type of traumatic experience. And so I want us to really think about how often we have landed in situations, even within the church, where we have felt unsafe. Y'all not gonna have me up here just nodding y'all head and not say that.
You know, you're gonna have to give us a minute because we start hitting heavy and we have to process everything you just said. We are processing from intergenerational trauma to loneliness to adoption, open adoption to now. When have you not felt safe?
Right. And it's not even like when have you, because I'm not even asking that. I'm just saying, that there are moments that healing cannot happen because people don't feel safe.
And that's the truth. That is the truth. Because of whatever has happened amongst the saints of the Most High God. And
let's just define. Let's back up.
Okay. Well,
let's back up. Let's back up. Let's back up and define the church. All right. Let's define the church. Because a lot of times, we go to and we know that the church is one of the places that we should be able to go to for healing. For a lot of other different things or what have you. I know we hear a lot of people say, the church is the hospital, But we have to think about the makeup of our churches, right? The church is what? People, right? Individuals, right?
Yep.
So those individuals, even though some of us are higher ranked, quote unquote, than others or whatever, we all deal with a lot of different emotional things, right? So the people in the church are hurt people too as well. Sometimes us all coming together, trying to find a way to get healed all at the same time. So let's think about it from that approach too as well. Like the people who are at the church, we're all there. Everybody, I don't care who it is, from pastors, deacons, deaconess, missionaries, on down to a lay member, has something going on in their life that they're dealing with that emotionally overwhelms them at times. So we're all coming together at church, the church building,
Mhm.
trying to get some type of healing. So we're all trying to sometimes filter our way through it.
That's so good, right? Because and to that, I wonder then what becomes the standard, right? Because if that's the case, and that where the church absolutely is made up of people, we are the body of Christ, right? Then what is the standard by which we govern or monitor this healing process? Right? Is there an acknowledgement that we're all on our healing journey? Right? And out of that,
preface it like
correct.
That's good.
And then out of that
I'm sorry, that was really good.
and out of that acknowledgement, do we set parameters in place that speak to that? And
I
okay,
think
so
that
what
we should. I agree. I think that we should do all churches do that? Absolutely not. Should we start thinking along those lines? I think we should. Because it would be so much helpful
Right.
if we preface it like that.
Yeah,
Right.
and actually
And-
get professionals
Yeah.
in, because everybody is not and does not have the ability to handle emotional trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to study up on, you need to know something. If you
Yeah.
ain't even had child psychology because you didn't quite go to school
Yeah.
and further your education into that, then you can't still understand some things.
You have to be
have a certain,
you really have to really be trained,
And
trauma
help.
informed.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people was like, we leave this to here, but no, we need to be cross trained
across the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's not just one
board.
thing. It's not just one thing.
Because even when you said coming from the mentor standpoint, and I'm getting mine in a little bit here.
Yeah, I see.
But with us who mentor and my mentors, we try to be informed on those different things so that we can help our kids heal, because that's what it is, a supportive adult helping them heal.
Because when you talk
so you got
about,
to be able to recognize.
when Sister talked about intergenerational trauma, it started somewhere.
It started
So
somewhere.
if you don't have the cross,
right,
the witness even help from birth to wherever they at in life, then you're gonna kind of screw them up.
Yeah, because the trauma, of course, drives those unhealthy behaviors, and we know that or whatever, and we're going to see them in the church. Why? Because we are the people who make up the church,
Right.
And we're dealing with it on a daily basis. So prefacing it, like you said, I think that all churches should. Also, sister, there's something that it was a while ago. I think we were riding, all three of us. And I think you were telling us how you had spoke with one of your other friends about what if at the entrance of the church when they're pulling up, they had like different signs and different things for people to come to Christ. It was a different and unique way. I don't know if you remember, if you can kind of talk about that, because it came to my mind.
No, I was actually talking to, and I'll shout her out. She might be on, she might catch the replay, but Amanda Kidd, she's out of Maryland, right?
Okay.
And so we were just talking, and she was talking to me about just this concept of folks pulling up in the churchyard and having a tent because you need prayer before you go into church because this week was really hard, or you need a particular resource because your family is struggling with this, that, or the other. Like even before they enter into worship, right? Freeing them up to be able to worship. Yeah. Versus like waiting until the end of service. That's when we pray, or, we provide these things, but understanding that when we have these concerns or these issues, it hinders our ability to press into the presence of God. It hinders our ability to truly be open and transparent before Him, because we have all of these other things that are going on.
Right.
And the framework that we have operated from thus far is cast all your cares. Just come in, cast all your cares. But nobody really helps us to understand how to do that. Right? Because there's some things I don't even need to handle in church for real.
Right.
if I had additional resources in my life.
Right.
Right. And so if I was plugged into a
Right.
counselor, right, or
Mhm.
plugged into my therapist or plugged into my mentor, then these folks can help me navigate those waters
Right.
that by the time I get to church, I'm light, I'm free. I can
Correct.
worship because I gave myself permission to do this other set of work that I need to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you for explaining, because that came to my mind too as well when we were talking about the church and we were talking about the resources and just
But I think if we take that approach though, Carol, and I really appreciate that thought. I really appreciate that, because if we take the approach that we are all on this journey towards healing, whether you're the archbishop, the bishop, the corporal, the commander, it doesn't matter, right? If we come from a place that we're all on this journey, and I think that's why so many people suffer, because they're in positions of power. And those positions of power then say, you can't let the people see you cry.
Right.
Those positions of power says, you know, you have to have it all figured out. Well, what if you don't?
No, we're all in this together.
Exactly. But that's not the model
that's
that
not
we've
the model
operated
that we follow.
from.
Right.
No.
Right.
That's not the model.
Because we only put it on the lay members got a problem.
Right. Leadership don't have no problem.
That's good.
Like,
yeah.
It's
They're
all good.
Yeah. We helping the lay members, and we in the same boat as the lay members.
Correct.
And we just know some of us just know how to wear it well, but you know, and because that's all we've known, to just be strong, you know, even for you all, for the lay members or whatever. But really, you crumbling.
Right.
You're folding.
That's the truth.
You're breaking.
Absolutely.
You're stooping. You're like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And so we see Kirk in this moment.
Yes.
Right. Doing some of these same things
that we just talked about.
And Father's Day.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So oh, sure.
Y'all, I think we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Oh, absolutely. We ain't even start. Like,
that's why I was bouncing us back to Kirk.
Okay.
But it all connects.
It all makes
connects.
And we'll come back with part 2. We'll come back with part 2.
No, absolutely.
Let's get to a certain point.
Yeah. So I really want us to understand the impact of trauma and how it shows up even as believers. If there's just one thing I want to say tonight is, don't let anybody convince you that your mental health is not important. And so my mental health is integrated into my spiritual health, but it's also separate. Okay. There's an integration, but it's also separate. Right. Good. And one of the things that I really want to do for my dissertation is looking at intimacy with God and how that is interrupted because of my trauma.
Oh,
right.
Wait, say that again, sister.
Wait a minute.
You doing what? Wait. That was just a thing. Wait. Oh, God. No, that's what I want to look at. I want to look at the impact of trauma on our intimacy with God. Because many times my trauma hinders my ability to receive God in his fullness.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about in his fullness.
Yeah.
Because
you stay stuck. You can't move past, and you can't allow him to enter.
Right.
Because I'm still right here.
Yes. I'm dealing with the impact of the things that I've been through. All right. Okay. And so I say that because we as the body of Christ, just as we see Kirk walk through this process, he had to come to the realization that no matter how many spiritual downloads I get, no matter how many #1 songs I write, no matter how many churches I get to go preach at the end of the day, I long for a daddy. Right. That was the bottom line. I long for a father. Period. And because of that longing, my mental health is disrupted. And I got to deal with my mental health. Ain't none of us 19-time Grammy winners.
No.
At all.
Okay, at all. Ain't none of us been 30 years in the game like him.
No.
And
I
if
mean,
this man would humble himself to say, "This is what I need for my life,"
period.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How much more you and I?
Yeah.
Something that others see as simple as that was the biggest and the greatest thing ever for him.
Yeah.
Not no millions of dollars, not no Grammys, as you
No.
said, not being on TV shows, not all of the things, the fame and the fortune.
Yeah,
Well,
he was willing to give it all.
Yeah.
Like that's like nothing
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
compared to what I'm yearning
Mhm.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess part 2 will bring in the mentor and the musician, right? In part 2, because it just so happens that Kirk's dad is an addictions counselor,
Correct.
Mhm.
right? And a very successful counselor,
Successful.
right? And just what is the irony
What is the
that
irony?
this young man has been struggling all his life
Mhm.
His dad.
with mental health concerns, and your daddy has been helping hundreds of people
With-
recover from addiction.
that right
Bruh,
Addicted
Right
to-
there. And he had addictions, Kirk.
of course.
Yes.
Wow.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yes. Of course. He picked up a
It's-
lot of those
yeah.
things along the way.
Yeah, because he didn't have his daddy,
Mhm.
who was an addiction counselor.
Who is an addictions guy? Like, it's just wow, the wonder of God and
Yeah.
just how amazing he
It's
is.
so
Yeah, that was a full
when
circle
he,
moment.
yeah,
Full circle
he
moment.
puts the pieces back together.
That was
Dang.
big.
That
That was
together.
big for Kirk. Though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then you wonder at this point, where are they like in the process? Because
Right.
the dad is allowing him to, because he knows he can't just full
Right.
force it. He already know how to help
Because
him
his dad
manage.
already understands.
already
understands.
He already understands.
He has the empathy. He has the
Yes.
capacity
Yeah.
Yes.
to help him heal, you know,
Yeah.
on a different level.
On a different level. God, can you imagine the
Jeez.
songs he gonna write out?
Listen, I'm trying to tell you.
He get 30 more Grammys.
Right. Kirk, like, y'all gonna be really sick of me.
Kirk out here helping others heal too.
Yeah.
Correct, because the one
Others
biggest thing
heal.
is he even showed in front of his singers and those who he
Right,
working with the
right.
process.
Yes.
So they had to feel the moment,
Mhm.
even as they were going
As they
through
were
the
going
music.
through.
Yep.
And the song,
with him.
well, we'll get into that with the music,
Yeah.
but even the
Mhm.
songs he was writing
Yep.
was about him.
That's right.
But to have somebody else sing your song, they gotta feel your
yeah.
where you are.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and to
good.
walk with you through it.
That's
will.
good.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't know how they got it. They're falling out. And one of the girls like, oh, it's because I'm pretty. No, I am falling out.
All right.
She was like, no, this is just a lie.
But man, to be able to hold space for him in that
Yes.
way,
Yeah.
golly.
And not say anything.
no.
They waited for him to tell his story.
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
get people who can hold
Man.
and not
And
run
the-
their mouth
yeah,
in the
and
moment.
It was a different way they held him up too.
Yeah.
It was very different.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Wow,
sorry.
wow, wow.
I'm getting chills right now.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yes. We need
It
them
was
type
good.
of people in
You
our
need-
lives.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because now who's not going to be running and telling it and they're
Right.
not good right now.
Right.
No.
Just quiet.
Just be
Let
quiet.
the man.
They held
just-
it till he told it.
And
no
they-
one else.
And they signed that paper. They didn't want to be sued.
That's right.
Because that's true too.
Yeah.
That's true too. But even in that, people still sign paperwork and still, you
And
know,
still tell.
but they still were confidential.
I
in that
mean,
moment.
very. You wouldn't even know it was coming or happening.
Yeah.
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 But they knew.
Yeah.
You know they
Wow.
knew.
This is
All
good.
right, this is good.
Yeah.
All right.
All because we're seeing trauma
Yeah.
out of a Father's Day story.
Father's Day. Father's Day. So listen,
All right.
we'll be back next week. We'll pick up with the musician and the mentor. We're gonna be talking about trauma through the lenses of the musician's eye.
Mhm.
As Kirk, of course, has created so much wonderful music for us over the years
Yes.
that we all have appreciated. But what is that process for the musician?
Mhm.
To be able to live in those traumatic spaces
Uh-huh.
and still push out that type of impactful music, you know.
I'm not messing with it.
Yes, you are. That's all you. That is all you.
Messing with it.
So we're gonna pick up next time and we're gonna talk through the mentor, the mental health provider, and the musicians Thank y'all so much.
Thank you all for this
listening
evening.
in on this
Listening.
conversation.
Yes.
And we shall see you next
Next week.
Tuesday.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.